here's
it
Doris.
It does make sense what you're saying, though.
And here's me. And here's Emma and Polly.
Okay.
And here's Tony.
And it's recording?
Yes.
Okay. There are many reasons that we read aloud to young children and infants. We read aloud to them to build a bond. We read aloud to them as a form of entertainment. We read aloud to children so that they learn phonemic awareness, fluency, sounds and letters of the alphabet, new vocabulary words, comprehension of story structure, and other key pre-literacy skills. All of these things are what help children develop their language skills. Reading aloud to infants and young children helps them to develop their language skills. Vocabulary is learned from books more than from normal conversation. Reading aloud increases the number of vocabulary words babies and young children hear. That is why it is important to read aloud to infants and young children. The time before children start talking, from birth to 2 years of age, is a critical time for future language development. When children are read aloud to, they learn to recognize similar sounds and words from their favorite books. From What to Expect the Second Year by Heidi Murkoff and Sharon Maisel. B. Repetition. Toddlers love to hear the same story over and over and over again. And though the repetition may drive you to distraction, it's incredibly satisfying to young ears. After a while, you may even be surprised to find that your toddler has memorized some of the text, especially if it is in a rhyme form. Rhymes are always verbal music to little ears. Repetition builds comprehension. The first few times you read a book to a young child, they may not understand every word. But every time you read it, they will pick up more and more words. Long after you are tired of even looking at a child's favorite book, they very likely will have mastered most of it, if not all the words in the story. This is very satisfying to a young child. Reading aloud to children is when most of them first really begin to understand that each sound has a meaning. Pointing out things in the pictures of a child's favorite book is also another good thing to do to help a child develop language. It teaches them to associate words with what they mean. For example, point to the bird and say, "Look at the bird." Or even something a little more complex like, "Look at the bird. That is a bluebird." Every time you read the book, this will teach the child what the word bird means and also what the word blue means. After a while, when you read the book, rather than you pointing to the bird and saying bird and ask the child to show you where the bird is. Before you know it, when you turn to that page, the child will say bird and show you where it is before you even ask. Reading aloud also helps young children to learn uncommon words, so that their language skills will be more broad. They will learn everyday words that they hear all the time from those around them, but also less commonly used words. Children's books are written in often what is referred to as book language. This means that most children's stories are not written with words and sentence structure as we tend to speak them. For example, the following is a passage from Off We Go by Jane Yolen. "Scritch, scratch, scritchety scratch, directly from the egg I hatched. Then off to Grandma's house I dash, sings Little Duck." Most people don't talk like that. Book language, like the previous language, is important for young children to hear because the rhyme and flow of the words make them easier and more enjoyable for young children to hear and to remember. It teaches them about grammar and structure of words and sentences. These are things that will help them as they get older in school. Reading aloud to young children teaches them to hear the correct and incorrect way things sound and should be said. This is an unconscious lesson, but later in school and life, when they are older, this early lesson is what allows children to recognize grammatical errors in writing or speech they hear. From the ABCs of Literacy by Cynthia Dolan. Language begins with babbles and grunts. These are sounds that babies and young children make because they are trying to figure out how to make the sounds or words that they hear being made around them. The sounds that infants make are often more than just sounds. They are learning language. As they grow and learn better how to get their mouths to make the same sounds that they hear, such as baba for bottle, we begin to understand what they are trying to convey much easier. When children are rewarded with praise and acknowledgement that you understand them, they are encouraged to try more words. As they keep trying, words become more clear until baba is finally replaced with bottle. Remember, children learn from their surroundings, so everything you say and do is being absorbed by their little brains. You can read anything to children as long as your tone and body language make it fun and interesting for them. It's not so important that what you read aloud to them, but more the fact that you do read aloud to them. Thank you.